My name is Aisha, and this is the story of my first night after marriage. A night I'll never forget, not because of what happened, but because of what I felt. The room was silent. Soft candles flickered in every corner. The sweet scent of roses filled the air. I sat quietly, my hands resting on my lap, my heart beating fast. Everyone says the first night of marriage is magical, but for me, it was confusing. It was a mix of fear, curiosity, excitement, and shyness. All at once I looked around the room. The flowers, the lights, the mirror covered with a red veil. Everything looked beautiful, yet I felt nervous. My husband, Rahim, was still downstairs with the guests. We had met only twice before our wedding. He had kind eyes and a calm voice, but he was still a stranger to me. The clock kept ticking. Every minute felt heavy. And then the door opened. My heart stopped for a moment. Rahim entered the room quietly. He looked just as nervous as I was. He closed the door softly behind him, turned toward me, and smiled. "Assalamu alaikum," he said gently. I managed to whisper, "Wa alaikum assalam." My voice was shaking. He came closer, slowly, and sat on the chair next to the bed for a few seconds. Neither of us said anything. The silence felt loud. Then he smiled again and said, "You don't have to be nervous. I know it's been a long day." His voice was soft and calm. It made me breathe a little easier. He poured a glass of water and handed it to me. "Here, drink this," he said kindly. "You must be thirsty." I took it with trembling hands and whispered, "Thank you." We both smiled awkwardly. It was the first time our eyes met, really met. And in that small moment, the air felt lighter. After a few minutes, he said, "Aisha, let's not rush anything tonight. Let's just talk. Let's start as friends." His words touched my heart. No one had told me marriage could start like that. With patience, not pressure. I nodded softly. "Okay." We began to talk, slowly, gently. He asked about my favorite food, my favorite color, the kind of books I liked. And then he laughed, saying, "I don't read books. I fall asleep after one page." I laughed too. That laughter broke all the tension. He told me about his childhood, how he loved playing cricket, how his mother always scolded him for losing his wallet, and how he dreamed of opening his own business someday. Then he asked, "You'll support me if I ever fail, right?" I looked at him and smiled shyly. Of course, that's what a wife does. For the first time, the word wife felt real. When I spoke about my family, my voice trembled. "I'll miss them," I whispered. He nodded gently. "I know, Aisha. Leaving your home isn't easy, but remember, you're not alone now. Together, we'll make a new home." His words felt like warmth on a cold night. A few minutes later, he asked softly, "Are you happy with this marriage?" I froze. My mind filled with worry. Did he think I wasn't? I quickly said, "Yes, of course. Why do you ask?" He smiled. "I just want to make sure you're comfortable. Happiness can't be forced." That moment taught me something important. Sometimes people ask not to doubt you, but because they care. The night continued with small talks, laughter, and soft pauses. It was peaceful, calm, and real. When the clock struck midnight, Rahim looked at me and said, "You should sleep now. It's been a long day. Tomorrow is the first morning of our new life." Before turning off the light, he paused and whispered, "Thank you for trusting me." Those words echoed in my heart. I smiled and replied softly, Thank you for understanding me. When I closed my eyes that night, I realized love doesn't always start with magic. Sometimes it starts with respect. The next morning, the morning sun entered through the curtains. For the first time, I woke up as someone's wife. Rahim was already awake, reading something on his phone. He looked at me and smiled. Good morning, Mrs. Rahim. I smiled back shyly. Good morning. He laughed and said, You don't have to be shy anymore. We had breakfast together, quietly at first, but with small smiles. Later that day, his mother came into the room and said, You both should visit Aisha's family after lunch. I was surprised. Already? I asked Rahim. He smiled. Yes, you must be missing them. Let's go. That gesture touched me. He understood me without words. A small misunderstanding. A few days later, something unexpected happened. One evening, I overheard Rahim talking on the phone. He said, I think she's still not open with me. My heart sank. Was he disappointed in me? I didn't say anything that night. I avoided eye contact. He noticed my silence and asked gently, What's wrong? I hesitated, then finally said, You think I'm not open with you? He looked shocked. You heard that? I nodded quietly. He came closer and said softly, Aisha, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just meant, you're still shy? I want you to feel free around me. That's all. His tone was calm, full of care. My eyes filled with tears. I thought you were upset with me. He smiled kindly. No, Aisha, I could never be upset with you. I just want you to feel safe. To be yourself. That night, we talked for hours again. Not as strangers, not as newlyweds, but as partners. Nanstaq, the moment of understanding. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the distance between us disappeared. We learned each other's habits, fears, and dreams. Rahim never forced love. He earned it, with kindness, patience, and small acts of care. One evening, while watching the sunset from the balcony, he said, You know, Aisha, when I saw you for the first time at our engagement, I prayed that you would be my peace. And today, you are. I looked at him, my heart full of emotion. And you, I whispered, you're my calm after the storm. He smiled softly, and we stood in silence, watching the sky change colors. In that peaceful moment, I realized love doesn't happen in one night. It grows slowly, through understanding, respect, and small acts of care. Moral message. True love is not about how fast two people come close. It's about how patiently they learn each other's hearts. The first night of marriage is not the night of perfection. It's the beginning of a journey built on respect, patience, and trust. Because in the end, love is not found in grand moments. It's found in quiet understanding, soft laughter, and gentle words like, I'm here for you. Ai Gantan.